Whoa! Oh, Lord. The SMB2 Luigi physics. Daisy. Wario. Alright. Even if this hack is absolute vanilla garbage hack, I would absolutely have to crack this baby open like an egg in the editor, so to speak, in Lunar Magic, and check out the coding between being able to change the graphics like that. One thing that really irritates me is so many SMW forums. Whenever somebody asks a question, the response is, oh, it's so hard-coded, just, don't even worry about it, or oh, make your own, or go do something else. But it's like, they don't answer the question. So here's a classic question of, when does the game load graphics? When you enter a level, loading the game graphics, game palette for that specific level. And then at the beginning of the game, when you power on the game, when the Mario graphics get loaded into memory as well. Kamek has awakened the volcanoes on the Rainbow Isles. Round up the gang and restore the path to Garnet Mansion before the falls turn fiery. Just like California. Too soon? Welcome to Mario and Friends. Enter the door for a quick tutorial on your friends and powers. So we have to have coins to teach the player that we can exit the side of the screen. I am all for tutorials. I built one myself. But I think at some point, if you tutorialize too much, you're just being condescending to the player. Like the coins on the side of the screen here like that. I love the Pokemon Ranger games for DS, but what was it? The second game, the third game? When it gets to that point and the tutorial at the beginning of the game is, like, press the direction pad to move the character. It's like, seriously though? They have different abilities that activate when you press A. Okay, interesting. So it's like hijacked the spin jump routine. Luigi can ground pound with A in midair. Look, I love SMB2, the, American version. I never played as Luigi. I always actually, from beginning to end, played as Toad. A couple levels when I was younger, I needed the princess. She could just, float over the hazardous pits or whatever. But honestly, nowadays, I go solid Toad the whole game. Peach can float by holding A in midair. This float is the same float as SMB2 Peach. I am so offended. This is an inaccurate statement. It's the SMB2 North American version, because the Japanese version of SMB2 is what we know in America as the Lost Levels. This flutter can gain height. Just like the little Yoshi flutter. Wario can dash on ground by pressing A. You can also dash off a ledge and then jump off the ledge in midair. Okay, actually, interesting, kind of like Donkey Kong Country, actually. Waluigi can boost up by pressing A midair. Well, LR levels will let you swap. You can change at any time, even in the middle of a jump. Haha, that is very interesting. Going back to the whole graphics thing, there are a lot of graphical tiles required for Mario. And in a single frame, when I click this, it can swap out all of that. So I mean, like, people don't understand. We might poo-poo at the tech specs of Super Nintendo by today's standards, but honestly, it's pretty good. And it was insanely better than the Nintendo tech specs, the original NES. It's interesting, the second layer there is kind of a ghosty, transparent. Oh boy. That's actually a cool graphical idea. Alright, yeah. See, once again, once I stop frequenting SMW Central, let me take an intentional D here again. We have the exact same thing, and I'm willing to bet we already discovered, yeah, the retry text is sprites, and we can even place it anywhere on the screen we want. But honestly, I like the sprite idea better than the HDMA effect, because that does lead to a lot of issues with various level types. So yeah, it comes down to here I was like, it's just because the first time I've seen something, I was praising a specific ROM hack creator who probably, might not even know how to code. It was all, they just, installed a cool patch. Oh man. Okay, that's a wall. Interesting. Oh my goodness gracious. OMG, Luigi. I'm going to instantly hate all of the Luigi levels automatically, I can tell. Ay caramba, man. What is nice, what is cool, this red, right, I had to play as Mario. Green, I think I had to play as Luigi. And then over here, let me see, actually I think this is the overworld. Yes, we got pink. We got like this tan, we got the orange, we got the yellow, we got purple. I love this idea of color coordination here. May not be the coolest looking or coolest designed overworld. Kudos. What is that, a rabbit? I think my nieces would absolutely love this game. We have a nice aesthetic touch, the water that's overlapping all of the foreground tiles. Where there's a bottomless pit, it's a lighter tint color, and darker where you would kind of have natural darker tint. So like, how many sprites can we spawn? Man, ho ho ho, take that, Chuck. Suddenly the bunnies are peaceful. Let's go back to Mario so I can have some self-esteem again, like I can actually play these games. Well, this is unfortunate. Come here, little cactus boy. That's a pretty stinking tight jump for a supposedly easy hack here. Oh man, look at this. There's a mistake. If you look at the top two tiles here, the left side has a rounded corner, but it has the correct foreground, but they chose the wrong one on this side. Notice you can see it's a rounded corner, but instead of getting that little background, it's... Oh, actually, okay, it's messed up on both, it looks like. Man, now I'm curious what the dealio was. What was wrong there? As I suspected, that background are actually part of the foreground tiles. But if you notice, if I turn off the background itself, why that looked correct is because we were actually looking at that similar color mountain behind it. So yeah, both corners are incorrect. The thing is, you have to create a hybrid tile that is a rounded corner and has the correct, background, foreground colors. And the thing is, you're still limited to 16 colors, one of those colors being transparency, of course. So you're limited to 15 colors in even doing these hybrid corner things. Like, it's up to you. Like, you can't have rounded corners, or you have to try to find that hybrid corner. And honestly, like, if we zoom in, right, how many colors is this pillar in the background? I mean, it probably is about 4 or 5 maybe. So I think it would be possible to create a single tile that has the palette information of the foreground tiles of the ground, as well as this as well. I know this is kind of like, probably sounds like I'm picking at gnats, but I mean, I fought for every pixel in my ROM hack. All right, looks like, is this Daisy Orange? I love this track though. I believe Super Mario Land 2. Again, we see the little cute one tile, one-way gates. But I think I actually like the idea of one tile blocks only, and then of course you can use them as many times as you need, and that would definitely cut down on the X animation tiles required to make the little animating effect as well. Oh, check this out. It's a scene. It's a cinematic. Daisy, you call yourself a princess, but you jump like a filthy dinosaur. Try not to eat everything in my castle, too. Oop, forget it. So, like, did this creator just commit the cardinal sin and make a fat joke against women? Do we have to watch the cinematic every time we die? Okay, not exactly. That's actually very kind. Okay. What just happened here? Oh! I gotta test this now. The Kamek magic changed the, Okay. Something is not making sense then. I don't know. I'm suddenly Mario. Oh boy. Boss battle forgiveness? Alright, this game automatically gets an F. Sorry. Alright, yeah, see now it's Daisy again. Alright, what causes or triggers that though? Like random? So is it just alternating like 2-2? So we'd like do 2 Marios. Alright, and then we do 2 Daisies. Daisy, and then it'll go back to 2 Marios? Okay. There it is. So those donut blocks permanently despawn? What in the world? And that pushes me through. What exactly, what the crap is this game? Gotta at least try out a Wario level here. So I have to be in the act of jumping, and that makes me impervious to enemies or whatever? Alright, very interesting and bizarre mechanic. Yeah, I can see how they could make a few really cool and also really challenging levels with this. 10 hours later, because the overworld movement is so slow. To summarize my thoughts, I think the premise of this whole hack is way cooler than any of the execution, at least what I've seen so far. Really cool ideas, lots of interesting coding things. I thought the tutorial section was really nice. Let me take an intentional D here. This whole retry patch, like, I find it hilarious that, is this a fork of the retry patch that now uses sprites instead of the HDMA window effect? I'm not sure, but honestly, I like this idea for even some of my future ideas that I have for my sequel ROM hack. A lot of the good things that I have been saying honestly might come down to the patches that weren't even created or don't even know how they work by some of the creators that have been using said patches. But isn't that kind of how it all works? Like if you have a photographer and they take pictures of some historic event or some historic people, the only thing that ever gets immortalized is the people in the photographs. The photographer, who in some instances has to be an even better athlete or a better climber or a better whatever activity the person is engaged in to be able to get the good shots, is typically not even remembered. They're completely forgotten because, you know, they're not on screen. So in a similar way, I think a lot of these patches that again are going to be seen in a lot of hacks are plain and simply the result of excellent ASM coders that we have on SMW Central, and not necessarily even touched by the person who's patching them into them. And like I was alluding to earlier, yeah, whatever version of the retry patch I used for my first ROM hack, it was not in my game for an insanely long time, and by the time I did patch it in, it broke like a ridiculous maybe about 12 or 13 different things that I had already coded into my hack itself. So it took several days for me to look through, okay, what is every hijack the retry patch is doing, and how I went through one by one and fixed and altered. And honestly, like, I'm kind of resentful. I love giving credits. I put so much work into recoding the retry patch, I almost felt like, do I even need to credit the ASM coders who originally put out this hack? But no, I wasn't petty, and I gave them credit where credit was due. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, this is Great Games Before Your Time.